And I have to say, my brother's the best brother anyone could ask for. I always felt that way, but prison confirmed it. Tristan was thrown in jail just for being my brother. He never posted videos, never said any of the things they accused me of. The Matrix doesn't target him, no articles about him. So why was he locked up? Because he's a Tate. That's it. And when I got out, a lot of people around me started catching heat. Business partners got hit with tax issues. Exes were contacted. Friends were harassed. Some of them complained. They told me how hard it was. I was thinking, you were stressed? I was locked in a cage. But Tristan, not a single complaint. He never once said, why me? Or this isn't fair. In fact, he said the opposite. He told me he was glad they locked him up too, because he would have been furious if I'd been left to face it alone. And there was a point where they discussed releasing him first, and he refused. He said he wouldn't leave unless I was freed too. That's a brother. There are times when calm is necessary, when you can't let fear dominate. But fear in itself is powerful. I still carry some fears, like the idea of not being able to protect my family if the Matrix wins. I wouldn't call it fear in a weak sense, but more of a driver. I love the life I have now. Instant access to anything I want. The idea of losing that doesn't sit well. So yeah, I might wake up one day not feeling like grinding, but then I remind myself this life comes at a cost, and the price is effort. Even when I fought professionally, winning wasn't just about victory. It was about making the other guy lose. He spent weeks saying he'd beat me, promising his wife and kids everything would be fine, that he'd bring home a win. And watching him fail, that satisfaction ran deeper than winning for its own sake. I've always drawn energy from the darker side of things. I know beauty, and I live an incredible life, but it's rooted in deep understanding of how ugly the world can be. That balance, light and dark, is what drives me. When problems come up in business, I panic first. I take immediate action. Tristan, he tells me to relax. He's calm because I'm not. And we work because of that dynamic. People say you guys are so close, but we're close because we're different. Jail affected us differently too. I still have sleep issues. He sleeps fine. I was constantly strategizing, thinking of every angle, every attack, and how to beat it. He just accepted it. If I'd chosen that mindset, I could have handled it the same, but I didn't. I took the fight head on. That pressure still lingers. I don't hide the fact that my pride and ego motivate me. I do things that make me proud. As long as I stay grounded and avoid arrogance, that drive keeps me sharp. You got to keep testing your limits. Why else are you alive? Whether it's lifting more, making more, or building more, it's all about pushing forward. A lot of men are confused today because society tells them not to be proud, not to be competitive. But that's a lie. You're not supposed to be soft. You're meant to wake up, look in the mirror and say, this is who I am, and I will demand respect. You can't force people to like you, but you can demand their respect. All my critics, even the ones who hate me, respect me. They spend hours talking about me, dissecting me. If I were nobody, they wouldn't care, but they do. They care because I've earned that space in their heads. It's the same with some women. They may not even like the guy they're with, but they respect him. And that's what keeps them loyal. I've spoken with therapists who say needing to prove yourself constantly is insecurity. I think that's nonsense. That idea is part of the psyop. Make men feel guilty for having ambition. They say you should be secure and not care how the world sees you. But why should anyone be secure if they're underperforming? If you're not living up to your potential physically, mentally, financially, why would you be secure? You should feel dissatisfied. You should feel driven to evolve. That's not insecurity, that's responsibility. If you don't feel like you're enough, do something about it. That feeling should push you. I learned everything from experience, 87, professional fights, business struggles, real world challenges. I don't need self-help books. I've lived it. I don't even buy into the mainstream idea of happiness. People chase happiness like it's some ultimate goal. But happiness isn't a destination, it's a baseline. If you're not devastated by tragedy, you're already fine. That's what people forget. Unless you're dealing with true grief, like losing a loved one, You're a version of happy. People think if they're not euphoric, they must be sad. That's wrong. And chasing happiness too hard leads people down dark roads, addiction, distraction, temporary highs. I don't measure my life by feelings. Whether I feel good or bad doesn't change what I do. I stay consistent. I'm always content in my way because I don't let fleeting emotion dictate my path. And to answer a question people often wonder, no, I'm not happier now just because I have hundreds of millions. I was happy when I was broke too. Not in the same way, but I never let my circumstances define my mindset. The world wants you addicted to mood, dependent on dopamine. But if you can control that, then nothing and no one controls you. That's real freedom. Millions more than when I was broke. Well, not really, but I was never unhappy. I'm still in the same state now as I was then. I have work and I do it. It's that straightforward. There's no light without dark, no joy without pain. You can't get a rainbow without some rain. No matter how much you chase pleasure or happiness, you'll experience dips in between. There will be come downs, low points. You'll find yourself caught between moments of wild joy and those when you feel low. Better to adopt a disciplined, stoic mindset. I stay at the same internal level of contentment no matter what. If I lost everything today, I'd still be here. Same state. If my wealth quadrupled, I wouldn't feel any different. As long as I'm breathing, as long as those I love are safe, and as long as God allows me the honor of fulfilling my responsibilities, I'm good. I get to wake up knowing people out there need me. I get to work for them, do good for the world, do good for society. That's enough that makes me whole. I don't sit and wonder how I feel. Why would I? That question never crosses my mind. I have duties, I have responsibilities. My emotions don't decide whether or not I complete them. And when I hear men say they're unhappy or need to find happiness, I know they're looking through the wrong lens. You're a man. You have duty, responsibility, honor. You do what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. The constant obsession with feelings, happy or sad, is a flawed approach to life. You wake up and move forward. I built this mindset through combat, 87 professional fights. I didn't learn it from a self-help book. I didn't read about confidence. I lived it. I learned the truth in action. You don't truly absorb anything by just reading. It's regurgitation, not learning. My coach used to say, if it didn't hurt, you didn't learn. And he was right. It applies to everything in life. People repeat mistakes until the consequences hurt bad enough, and only then do they change. That's how I built self-discipline, motivation, resilience. I found strength I didn't know I had because people wanted to hurt me in that cage. If you're young and want to improve your life, your waking hours must be used out competing everyone else. The world is full of hyper-competitive people. If you're spending 8 hours reading a book while I'm out maneuvering everyone, you're gonna lose. I've always been quick, fast decisions, fast networks, fast moves. If you're slow, you'll fall behind. So from a young age, I learned to stand up for myself, defend my ideas, most of which were different. I was always a bit of an outlier, which helped later on. I easily reject what the system, the matrix, is feeding me. My dad had his own way of thinking. We never sat reading philosophy books, but his words were deeper than most philosophers. You can still see them on his old Twitter feed. Life really is simple. Action and reaction, cause and effect, brave men and cowards. Self-interest motivates most people. Once you get that, life becomes easier to navigate. One of the biggest problems in the world today is people refusing to act. Choosing not to act is still an action. That's really all the philosophy you need. If something must move, move it. Waiting around is cowardice. Hoping for the best isn't a plan. It baffles me how many people understand where the world is going and yet choose to sit and hope. I believe all men are born with a desire to conquer, to go beyond average. But if you live a cushy life, if your mother coddled you, if you were never tested, the system can convince you it's fine to be average, and then you sit there, living an average life, feeling unfulfilled. I never had that. I was never comforted. No one told me it was okay to be mediocre. I heard the opposite. I don't believe the fire in me is any stronger than what lies in other men. The difference is, I never let anyone convince me to put it out. If you're not where you want to be, maybe it's because you've let yourself be talked out of it. You let the matrix tell you it's okay not to be the man you know you could be. I never let that happen to me. I know I'm right because the way I think leads me to the correct outcomes. I know when something's wrong. I know when it's time to act. I know how to make money. I trust myself. I've never been wrong in the moments that mattered. Sadness, anger, when I feel them, I don't question it. Felt like he needed to go to some far-off place and conquer it, seize it, and prove he's the king. But the regular people, they walk around saying, I don't need to prove anything to anyone. That's loser talk. That's the mindset of someone who's already lost. Me, I've got something to prove to everyone, all the time. That's just how I'm wired. I don't shy away from challenge. If I say something, I'll stand on it. I'll back it up. If someone had come up to me in that lobby to debate my ideas, I would have proven them right there. If they'd wanted to get physical, I'd have ended it fast. That's who I am. I will always have something to prove until the day I die. It's the ultimate slave mentality when someone reacts emotionally to something they don't even understand. Imagine being so easily controlled. Like if every time you saw the color red, you lost your mind. You're not free. You're a puppet. Me? Every time I've been enraged, it was necessary. And I'm not saying I had the best reason. I'm saying it was the optimal move in that moment. Even when I've been deeply sad, it helped. There are moments in life when rage, sadness, empathy, even calculated coldness are the right tools. Real enlightenment is knowing how to feel what is most effective. Your emotions become weapons. They become instruments of precision. I knew from a young age I had to be someone. I wanted money, success, and to fight. I remember being 17, seeing a Ferrari, thinking I need one of those. I just knew it, and it worked out, but now I use that awareness in a different way, especially when it comes to women. Hypergamy is real. Women would rather share a powerful man than own a weak one. They might cry, but they won't walk away. If I've got a fight to prepare for and a woman complains, she can leave. I'm not getting beaten in the ring to make someone feel special on their birthday. I don't care what day it is. I'm going to the gym. Do I enjoy training? No. Do I like cutting weight? Definitely not. Do I get nervous? Yes. Do I question my choices? Absolutely. But that discomfort is what keeps me alive. If I'm not doing something difficult or stressful, I spiral into extreme boredom. And boredom is torture. I see people get excited about weekends or watching some movie, and I think, how empty is that? People look forward to escaping their own lives for 2 hours. That's not how I want to live. I need real stakes. That's why I chose fighting. It keeps my body tired and my mind sharp. When I'm not training, the days feel endless. Tuesday morning, nothing to do, I'll go stir crazy. If I didn't have fighting, I'd need something just as intense. Otherwise, I'd be chasing chaos, drunk, traveling, doing reckless stuff. It's not sustainable. Unless I'm a billionaire with infinite options, I need something that locks my focus. Fighting does that. Twice a day, no excuses. The mental and physical demands push out all the useless distractions. It consumes me in a way nothing else does. Even if I lost 100 times, I wouldn't quit. I'm not built to live a quiet, ordinary life. I couldn't settle down with someone, raise kids, and just relax. I've never relaxed. I don't know how. That's not me. Because I've always had a higher purpose. I naturally built a strong frame. I learned never to submit in relationships, and they're better because of it. I didn't need to be taught. My purpose consumed all of me, and everything else aligned around it. Even when I stopped fighting, my frame remained. I genuinely believe one of the worst lives you can live is one where you're pretending to be something you're not. I don't hide who I am. I never apologize for it. If you don't like it, that's your issue, not mine. Go fix your reflection. Same with women. If a girl gets with me and then complains, she's free to go. Some try to guilt me for living with my brother, but I know I operate better with him. I'm more competitive, more balanced. He makes me stronger in every way, business, life, everything. I'd rather build a clan than a traditional family. I like a tight, loyal network. It's more stable, it's richer, it's better for the children too. They benefit from the strength of many. And I've got the best brother a man could ask for. That's why I say even in prison, some of our best days were spent together. If I feel joyful, I'll use that energy to build. If I feel broken, I'll still use that energy to build. It doesn't matter what I feel. Energy is just fuel. Anger, grief, euphoria. Put it in the tank and the engine still runs. The engine only knows one thing: win. That's all I know how to do. Give me anything. Pain, joy, fear. It turns into output. That's the formula. Always forward, always performing, always achieving. When my father passed, I became the oldest man in the family. It was on me to step up. I could have flown back, spent time grieved, but I had to choose emotion or duty. And I chose duty. That business needed me. People waste time with it's only a few days or it's just a week. That mindset is why they're poor. They don't value time, but I do. Every minute matters. Every delay is a loss. While they waste hours, I gain momentum. They say later, I say now. That's the difference. You're up against people like me who don't let seconds slip away, even with money. Real ownership isn't what people think. Property is a joke. You don't own anything. I bought an Aston Martin DBS recently. Parked illegally in London. The guy says, you'll get a ticket. I said, you think James Bond looks for parking? Gave me the ticket. I stayed 4 days. Came back to a pile of tickets. Posted it online. Nothing happened. Why? Because I don't play by their rules. If you're a nobody, they take your car, your house, but I move differently. That car isn't even in the country anymore. Everything's about economics. Laws only matter to the poor. If there's a fine, that means rich people can just pay and break the rule. Banks break laws, pay tiny fines, and move on. Try doing the same as a regular guy. Straight to jail. That's the game. You either play it or get played. If there's a price, it's not about morality, it's about class. For me, paying $3,000 for parking is worth it. Saves me 5 minutes. That's worth more. So what's really illegal? Nothing, if you have money. That's how the system's wired. Once you hit a certain level, the rules bend. Property becomes valuable, not because of what it is, but because of how you maneuver. If you're broke, owning something means nothing. It can be taken. But when you rise above the system, you can laugh at their threats because they don't apply anymore. And that's the real freedom, not the illusion of ownership, but the power to ignore the chains everyone else still wears.